I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I am Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Brie to like musical theater. And you guys, we have a very special guest, as you know them from Patreon with Cheese, our video editor, and as well as they've dubbed themselves Diet Brie. It's Elizabeth Esten. Yeah!
I love
Welcome
you,
back.
Liz. You are not Diet Brie. There's no, you
Thank
are
you,
Liz.
I don't think you get to make that call.
Yeah. I think these two get to make the call because I have to be you when you're gone.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
It's okay. I can handle it.
I'm
I think
great.
the audience makes the call.
Yeah, audience, do you think Diet Brie or is Liz their own entity? Vote on Twitter.
Make a poll. No, please don't.
No, I won't. That would be a horrible thing to do. Speaking of horrible things, let's talk about teenagers.
Oh, they're the worst.
Teenagers are... Yeah, it's like
so
a special
scary.
kind of bad.
I don't know about you, but teenagers scare the living shit out of me. And I don't. Oh,
They could care less as long as someone will
will
bleed. Are we going there, Jess? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very excited for the one person that this is their first episode. Like, oh god, I hate this already. The in jokes, the songs.
Oh, they're already
all that.
talking about an emo band that no one gives a shit about anymore.
It trended on Twitter a few weeks ago.
Okay.
On that note, Andrew, how are you doing? How do you feel about teenager?
Well, when I was a teenager, I snuck into a scary movie. It was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
We can't use that. You got to say the Blood Master.
But this was a real story. This actually happened. I actually did this.
Copyright says it can't exist, so we can imply that it's the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but it's the Blood Master. All right, continue.
Okay, I snuck into the Blood Master. Blood Master looks like a Friday the 13th movie, I'm going to be real, but you know, I didn't get caught and I didn't kiss anybody. So not as interesting as anything that happened here.
In case you didn't get what we were alluding to this week, we are talking about the Smash musical by Jason Robert Brown, according to the Netflix commercials. It's 13 the musical. Cue the music, Brie.
13, everything switches. 13, everything turns around. 13, end up in stitches. 13, hide away underground. 13, can I get through it? 13, life has changed overnight. 13, how do I do it? 13, nothing is going right. The best and the worst and the most and the least and the crazy and the scary and I'm standing on the edge.
13 the musical is a musical written by Dan Ellish and Robert Horn, with music and lyrics by the president of the Jason Robert Brown fan club. By the button now on our website, Jason Robert Brown! The show originally began previews on September 16th, 2008, and officially opened on October 5th, 2008 at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater. The Broadway production closed on January 4th, 2009 after a total of 105 performances. It did not get good reviews, nor did it get a lot of attention. The plot of 13 is following a move from New York City to a small town, Indiana. Young Evan Goldman grapples with his parents' divorce, prepares for his impending bar mitzvah, and navigates the complicated social circles of a new school. So let's chat about 13. And Liz, why don't you explain why you're here specifically for this show?
Okay.
Why did you get boosted up to special guest status?
So I as you know, if you're on Patreon, I am the co-host of the Patreon podcast, and sometimes we review movies that have already been covered as stage shows on the main show just to fill gaps in between Tangled. So I texted Jess. I was like, hey, do you want to talk about 13 on the Patreon podcast? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I mentioned I have a grand affinity for Liz Giles of Victorious fame, if you didn't know. So
Is it Giles or Gillies?
I don't know. I hear it both ways. I'll say Gillies too, just to cover my bases. And then he was like, let's just give you a platform to talk about it. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go with this. I don't know if I like 13 that much at the moment, but I'll go with this.
Well, let's expand upon that. You were a big Victorious fan, and when I asked, you said it's the reason I'm the woman I am today.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
All right. Now, Andrew, you have watched the musical 13 today.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts, especially considering this is from one of your favorite composers in the whole world, Jason Robert Brown?
I couldn't have guessed that Jason Robert Brown wrote it But hearing it, I'm not surprised. Does that make sense?
It does, but I want you to elaborate more, because I completely understand what you're saying, but I feel like folks that have not seen 13 will not.
I guess I just wouldn't expect him to write a show like this. It just seems too basic for him, but it has a lot of the plot elements that I think he's known for kind of in there.
Infidelity? You know? I feel like that's the one plot element he's known for.
That's one. You got the overarching like bar mitzvah, like just Jewishness of it, which isn't.
It's
is that in all of his stuff? I feel like it's in a lot of his stuff.
It's in at least the last 5 years, which is his autobiographical one.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed that he wrote it, but hearing that he did, I'm not shocked. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, and did you like it though?
I think it was pretty good. Honestly, I was expecting worse when I saw that everyone was a child performing it. So I was expecting like a Aristocats Kids kind of situation, you know? But it ended up being pretty good, honestly, overall.
I actually kind of love this show. I that is like a low-key thing I would have never admitted on this podcast in our first year, to be completely honest. I feel like nobody else in the world liked this show, and Liz put together the doc for this one, so I don't even know what Ben Brantley thought of it, so I'm assuming he probably didn't like it either.
I skimmed it. It's not good.
If you know anything about Ben Brantley, you know what his thoughts are.
Yeah.
Most likely.
I'm going to assume he doesn't love this. I know it didn't get nominated for the best score for the Tonys, which I think is a little ridiculous, because I think that, like, Liz, maybe you should look up what else got nominated this year, because I don't remember anything else really stacking up.
What Tonys would that have been?
That would have been next to normal Tonys, I think.
What year, though?
2009, I believe, because... Yeah, it would have been the Tonys 2009 because it closed in January of 2009. Either way, so I kind of dig this show, and I always have. Like, I've always really liked the cast album, and I've always liked the cast specifically. And he did something that Andrew Lloyd Webber would claim was fucking miraculous 10 years later, which is he had the kids play the instruments, not just have the kids on stage, but they played every orchestration piece. They are the band as well. And I thought that was really cool. And the kids that he got are actually pretty good comedic actors. You don't have, like, the weird ones that don't know what to do with their arms, or the ones that just look lost, or the ones I'm implying are in the movie adaptation.
Oh, no, don't go there yet.
We won't go there yet. We're saving that. But I think that the stage show really had a stellar cast, and I know I'm not the only one that thought that. There's a certain gentleman that loves feet and hates being nice to people that also thought a couple of the cast members were really good and put them in a very famous TV show. The jump started
Quentin Tarantino.
For kids.
The kids, Quentin Tarantino is Dan Schneider.
Everyone buy Jeanette McCurdy's book.
I've read it already. It is very triggering. It is not a pleasant read. Do it in segments, because you can't read that all at once. It is not healthy for you. But either way, Dan Schneider picked Ariana Grande, who has a very small role in this show, all things considered, because she is now the biggest thing in the flippin' world today. And Liz Gillies, Giles, whatever you want to call her, is the standout performance in the show. If I say that word, can you tell which character I'm talking about, Andrew? Who do you think is the standout performer in this show? And you're probably right.
I mean, Lucy.
And that's it.
Kendra.
That's it. Nope, it's Lucy.
Okay, I was right the first time. Good.
Yeah. She is the only, like, I mean, all the kids are good. Like, this is not an insult to the other kids. But Liz Giles, or Gillies, was on a whole different level.
Guile. I just like Guile better.
Yeah, you're a Buffy fan?
Street Fighter.
Oh, either way. So she is on a different level where she just knows the exact role she's playing and feels deep comfort in it and can turn it on and off. And I saw behind the scenes footage where Jason Rob Brown is working with the kids, and she can just click it on because she is not in that behavioral sense. And she plays that same character on Victorious, or so I gather. She is kind of like the edgier one on that show.
Yeah, she's the edgy bitch in the constantly abusive relationship.
Yes.
But you
Is
can't
Victorious good?
No.
That is a question I can't
No.
answer.
No, Ariana Grande's entire character is she doesn't know what anything is. She's constantly confused.
Isn't there like clips where they made her put her toe in her mouth or
Yes.
something?
Dane Schneider made her suck her own toes on camera in a bed.
And also, Victoria Justice was made to put ketchup all over her feet.
Yeah.
How did they let this happen?
Dan Schneider's making them millions of dollars.
They were a real big moneymaker in the day. And even with our show, there was a lot of feet imagery in Drake and Josh and all that, which we'll come to a little later today, strangely enough.
It's all
It's all
Nickelodeon today.
Dan Schneider's got his dirty feet all over this.
Also, the Tony Awards at 13 probably wouldn't win anything. Billy Elliot won 10 Tonys.
Oh, yeah.
And Next
I
Normal
don't
got
think 13
3.
is a show that could win anything. It
But
feels
not
like
even to
a
get
gimmick
nominated,
show.
though.
It's like look, we made all the kids do it, but the plot is so like simple.
The fact
It's like a Saturday morning special or whatever, you know?
it's
Or
not,
Saturday
though.
afternoon.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's not that simple. It is edgy. It does have edge to it. It isn't just Nickelodeon level. I'd say it's like PG-13, maybe pushing a little bit into the R territory.
I think PG-13 is much more apt, and you should have stuck with that.
Yeah, PG-13 is more apt.
I mean, yes, but they're on stage.
Name
You
of the
can get
show's 13. It's funnier.
I get it. I get it. But also, the show is edgier because it is on stage. They don't have the MPAA to worry about. So teenage girls can call each other sluts and assholes and say
Virgin
describe Jewish
whores, which is
virgin
very-
whores.
Very counterintuitive.
It's an interesting thing to say, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
And describing a penis getting ripped off and stuff like that. Things like that in a show like this for kids. I think that's
It does
pretty
feel
intriguing.
like a real like high school.
Yes. So Jason Robert Brown, apparently, according to the kids and the other writers, would have a script. The kids would perform it, and then they'd go for lunch, and then they just listen to what the kids would say during lunch and write that into the script to make sure that it felt authentic. And they'd be like coming in, oh, I said this. Yeah, this fits me. And the kids would have a lot of agency about how their characters would act and perform, so it felt real to them. And you can
They
see that
spied on the kids during their breaks and then wrote it into the script. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Jason Robert Brown might not be the most ethical person in the world.
That's how.
But
That's
at least he didn't like feet that much.
also, that's exactly
Hey.
how they wrote Megan is Missing. The guy like got on like video
don't think
chats
that's-
with teenage girls and would just write the script.
Okay, Michael Goy's a fucking weirdo. I don't believe he actually did that.
And I believe he
Megan
did.
is missing. Is that the one where the girl gets kidnapped?
Yep. Don't watch
I don't
unless you want to
think he did
torture
that.
yourself.
All right. So the plot to 13, should we just go over it? We haven't gone over it.
Yeah, Andrew, why don't you talk about that real quick?
All right, so Evan is turning 13. He's a New Yorker. He's going to have his bar mitzvah. And his mom just kind of drops on him that they're moving out to Indiana. I think it's Indiana.
Yeah, it's the Mike Pence state. Same as the prom, suspiciously.
Well, nothing good happens in Indiana. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So Evan gets to Indiana and is like, well, it's a fresh start. I'm gonna make some friends. And he tries to make a bunch of friends. He starts by making friends with a girl. God, is her name
Patrice?
Patrice? Yeah, Patrice. And she's like a she's like the nerd girl who's like outcasted a little bit, I guess. And they're friends
She's
right
Hermione
away.
Granger. You could have just called her Hermione Granger.
Yeah. She's less unbearable than Hermione though, so.
Yes.
And she has another friend
Named
is it
Ron
Archie?
Risley.
Is it
Yes,
Archie?
it's Archie.
Yeah.
And he has, I believe it's multiple sclerosis, or
Yeah, I think
at least
that
in the
sounds
stage
right.
show that is. He was a disabled character played by an abled actor, which screams ableism, and there's a lot of ableism in this show specifically, because I feel like since they felt like, oh, we have a disabled character, we can make as many jokes about ableism as we want, and that doesn't age that great.
No. But we're going to skip over that for right now, because we're just talking about the plot.
We'll circle back around, don't worry.
So, Evan wants to make friends with the popular kids, too, when school starts.
Which
and
consists
Patrice
of Brett, Lucy, and Kendra are the big ones.
Yes. Brett is in love with Kendra, but Lucy is in love with Brett.
And Kendra's also in love with Brett. And Kendra and
Yes.
Lucy are best friends.
Yes. Evan kind of gets involved in this, and Patrice is like, well, they don't like me, so I'm out of here. So they're not friends anymore, sort of. And then Evan devises several different schemes to get everybody to come to his bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
It ends up with like Lucy eventually stealing Brett from Kendra, but then in the end it all sorts itself out. And I mean, that's basically what happens. That's the plot.
And you're not covering like the gay panic moment where Brett and Archie accidentally kiss, and oh no, that's not a good thing because they think gay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at the very least, you can say it's realistic for if you were 13 in 2009.
Yes, you are correct. So
It's not a good thing. It's just, that's how 13-year-olds acted, I know.
yeah. I'm surprised there weren't more slurs thrown around in this musical. They were really writing down what these kids were saying.
Yeah.
They probably cut the slurs.
Ariana said what? No, we're just gonna not include that there.
No, it's just probably just the teenage
13-year-olds say
boys.
the darndest things.
Oh God. Hey, don't look up any person that's ever hosted Kids Say the Darndest Things. They all turn out to be terrible.
Maybe we can host next.
No!
Spin-off podcast, Kids Say the Darkness.
What do you gotta say, kid?
Why am I here?
Good,
We're
go, bye.
just interviewing a bunch of 13-year-olds that have all been on 4chan.
Oh no! Well, they had nowhere else to go now that Kiwi Farms is down.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Let me talk about Ben Shapiro for a minute. Okay, I know I'm 13, but can I talk about...
I know more
Ben
about
Shapiro
politics than
says-
anyone.
Their women should be in the kitchen. That is their proper place.
All right, kid. I just want you to sing a high E. I didn't ask for this.
I just asked you if you like to sing songs with your mom. I didn't ask for that.
Well, my mom is the prettiest girl in the world, and Ben Shapiro likes his mom like that too.
All right, we need to stop.
You really need to stop.
It's going too far.
Ben Shapiro
We've gone
might
too
find
far
us
in a couple
somehow and sue us.
Or worse, Ben Brantley.
Ben Shapiro will find us and dry us out.
Oh, he took a drink with that. He knew what he was doing. So, do we want to talk about the ableism real quick?
Yeah, you go off, King.
Yeah, you go off. Go off on that
I like
ableism.
Archie. I really like Archie as a character. I think he's a lot of fun. And I do kind of want to dive into like my story when I listened to the album for the first time. I thought that Archie and Brett were the same characters, so I thought that there was just this disabled bully that was bullying the main character, and I thought that
No,
was really
that-
funny.
That's a story that
I
we
thought
should get.
that was really funny, and I was like, "Oh, I'm excited!" No, they just went with the obvious choice
How did you think they were the same character?
because they both wanted Kendra, and I was like, and they kind of sound the same on the album.
Okay.
So I was just thinking, like, this kid with like a fatal disease is trying to like get with Kendra, and he's also just this huge bully. That's such a funny idea. It's like, what if Walt Jr. was a huge bully in school?
Instead
he
of just
was.
someone
We
who
don't know.
really enjoys breakfast.
He really enjoys Lewis and breakfast and nothing else.
Cars.
Cars. And Uncle Hank. But yeah, so that was my experience. I was like, oh, that's a really cool, like, empowering thing where at least a disabled character is represented in a way they're definitely not pitied upon. And then I actually watched the show and I'm like, oh no, he is just kind of pitied upon. That sucks.
He never really had a chance with Kendra. Do you think
Yeah.
they improve on it in the movie?
No, the movie, it's like if you have something that's like, oh, that's not that great, and then you just remove anything that it was interesting about it, it's still not that great.
That's fair. I don't.
What do you think of Archie?
I mean, I kind of wanted them to get with Kendra, if I'm being honest. I felt like that was like the subversive ending that I wanted to see.
I was expecting him to get with Lucy, honestly. I thought that would have been like the funnier payoff.
Lucy would have murdered him.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone deserves Lucy.
Yeah. Lucy would have murdered anyone she was dating.
I can fix her, guys.
That's great, Jess, but like you do that.
Yeah, that's great. But she's called a succubus in that one song, so maybe not.
She's bad news. She's bad news.
She's very bad
That
news.
is a man's interpretation of a woman's existence, and I find that sexist.
I mean, yeah,
What's
Jason
wrong with
Robert
being
Brown
sexy?
was bad at writing women. What a shock.
What are you talking about? He's written so many great women. Like...
Anna Kendrick,
And-
no.
You mean Kathy?
No, I don't like how she's written. I'm just joking.
Annoying shrew of ex-wife that I'm writing to get out my frustrations, or girl from Bridges of Madison County that gets naked for no reason, literally no reason. Kelly O'Hara just had a baby and they still made her do the nude scene on stage. Who gives a shit? And also girl from Songs from a New World and Betsy from the Honeymoon in Vegas. And the girl
Is
that
it
gets a
worse?
bra in Jason Robert Brown's bra commercial.
I think it only gets worse in the movie where Lucy is the only character who ever does anything even remotely mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about how that is, because the cool kids are kind of dickish, but they are dickish in the way where they're not irredeemable.
They have my favorite song in the whole thing, which is the Hey Kendra song, which I just think is great.
I love
Please
Hey
explain
Kendra.
that song.
That one's really good.
That's like
And
my third favorite
they just
song.
don't do it in the movie at all.
Name a song in the stage show, and they just don't do it in the movie at all.
Or they do like a bastardized version of it, like rewrite half of it.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, in the stage show, almost every character is just like a very flawed kid, and they have normal flaws that children
Yes.
have. Like they're not emotionally open at all because they're children.
They're greedy. They're
Yep.
self-centered.
Yeah, and like everybody has it.
They're
Like in the
horny
stage
because
show.
of their hormones. Like everyone, they're trying to figure out, maneuver around like what is allowed, what will get me branded as a slut or XYZ, or get me, the social hierarchy of school, along with just the hormones going through your body.
And I feel like anybody who's been in high school in the last like 3 decades probably remembers what this is like, because it is just awful. And I feel like this show does capture it.
I think that's one of the few things that makes that show really, really work, is how well they understand how kids actually think and behave, and how the weird tightrope walk that they have to go through. And at no point do I feel like it's like fetishizing kids in the way that like Nickelodeon shows tended to do, or even like Disney Channel shows tended to do in a weird way.
So you're using the word fetishizing. You don't mean
They
like-
aren't dressed in like bikinis and stuff like that. They're not.
Okay.
They just look like kids. They look like the way I'd imagine kids actually going to school. And I know that's like giving points for the minimum effort. Considering what else was going on in 2009, 2010, I feel like that's worth pointing out.
what is the negative reception of this show all about? You said nobody liked it when it happened. Like what is that about?
I feel like this goes back to our very first episode with Brent, and he summed it up pretty good, where he said Jason Robert Brown really hit it hard with Parade when he was like, 23, 24?
Yeah.
And he got really big-headed and was a dick to everyone and burnt every bridge that he had. So, even when he did new work that was at least interesting, they were like, nah, fuck that guy, as far as the Broadway heads
I guess
were concerned.
I can kind of see that. Like, the worst person in the world puts out what is basically just a slightly above average product, and you're just like, no, fuck that.
Yes, so With all credit to Jason Robert Brown, who is the composer of my favorite musical of all time. Parade is still like a very hard throne to beat. I do sell a button that says he is the president of his own fan club because he is one of the biggest egos to ever exist for someone that has only won 2 Tonys and has no cultural impact. As far as
he's a mediocre white man. Got it.
Yes. So let's hear
Let's
hear what another mediocre white man said about Jason Robert Brown's musical.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
We have a Ben Brantley here, but I want to have Andrew read this one and Bree will read the movie reviews because I feel like those will be more fun.
Yeah. All right. Ben Brantley wrote in his review for the New York Times in 2008. Featuring a cast of 13 performers, all under 18, and a band drawn from the same age pool. 13. Oh, that's actually interesting. It's 13 performers, and so it's 13. I didn't get that before. 13 certainly has on tap that natural radioactive energy that makes young teenagers so appealing and so scary. Ben Shapiro's quaking in his boots every time he walks by a 13-year-old.
You meant Ben Brantley?
Ben Brantley, pardon me. The same thing, really. Here we go. Though it features a buoyant score by Jason Robert Brown, who did Parade in the last 5 years, and a book by Dan Ellish and Robert Horn that dances friskily on the borders of bad taste. 13 ultimately feels as pre-processed and formulaic as the money-churning Disney franchise High School Musical. That is
Andrew,
not fair.
You have watched all 3 High School Musical films for our Patreon. That isn't fair.
No. High School Musical is absolutely soulless and empty.
Don't you dare say that about High School Musical 2, the cinematic classic.
High School Musical 2, the message of that is don't try. That is the
but it
message
has
of
an
all
awesome
3
scene
High
where
School
Zac Efron runs around a golf course and just does weird dancing.
Don't try it.
That was the discovery. Like, hey, stop putting so much work into things, Sharpay. Can't we just wing it?
Or maybe the message was, it's summer, let's just have fun, people.
I do remember that. It literally, that was the message. Like, let's just fuck. Why are we giving a shit?
Why are we putting so much work into this? Come on,
This is turning into
guys.
High
Let's
School
just
Musical
wing
5.
it.
This is ridiculous.
I personally like the High School Musical movies.
Thank you, Bree.
I was in High School Musical, so...
I mean, after watching Camp Rock, High School Musical does feel like it has emotion and soul to
Yes,
it.
it does.
Exactly. Especially after you've
but if
seen
you
Camp
compare
Rock
it to
2, which has
13
no soul.
Camp Rock 2 is horrendous, and we couldn't even talk about it while we watched it.
My new favorite meme going on is when she's like, I'm camper now and future producer tomorrow, and she just types randomly on the keyboard. It's like music comes out.
And then she's like also pop locking every once in a while.
The Camp Rock movies are bad. Ben Brantley, you're doing 13 a disservice by saying it's more soulless than High School Musical. This has something it wants to say, and it says it well.
Oh, Ben Brantley's not done.
Yeah,
gonna
he's
keep
not
going.
done. All right.
It's safe to assume that pretty much anyone who went through the American public education system during the last 50 years will find the story familiar. Looking back, I see now that junior high school, as it was called then, came closer to the brutal social politics of a Balzac novel than any other chapter in my life. My God, dude. Okay, boomer.
Yeah, we called it junior. What do we call it now? Middle school?
Middle school.
People still call it a junior high.
I guess. I mean,
Depends on what area you're in.
that's like a weird hill to die on, Ben Brantley.
But mostly the characters never emerge as genuine individuals.
That's
Maybe
not
that's
true.
deliberate on the part of the show's creators to allow young audience members to project themselves onto archetypical personas. But if I'm going to revisit the worst years of my life, I need to I need some fresh insights, or at least a sustained, authentic rush of the painful glory that is youth to make it worth my while.
Okay, so we have to unpack a psychological fucking profile of Ben Brantley by the end of this so that we can understand why he didn't like it.
I also like to...
Ben...
This was cut out. I didn't put it in here, but he went to this with a 14-year-old, like, young aspiring actor, and he pointed out in the review that the young aspiring actor did enjoy the show, but he didn't understand why.
Damn.
Maybe find a smarter 14-year-old kid that you hang out with.
Is it me who's out of touch? No, the children are wrong.
It was getting a little long when I was copying and pasting stuff, so I was like, I gotta cut it.
Can someone, without context, just keep spam sending that Principal Skinner meme to Ben Brantley? It would be very funny.
He says the characters that are kids never emerge as genuine individuals, but like, I feel like kids just aren't that complex of people yet.
No, they don't have that much they have to worry. Like bills, they aren't a morally gray kind of thing yet.
I feel like the archetypes that we see in the kids are kind of just like, that's who kids are in a lot of ways. I don't know.
You're not wrong, but I also feel like the kids that are there, like the archetypes feel real. They don't feel like bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Do we agree with Ben Brantley's review?
No.
I feel like he doesn't even actually review it here. He's just talking about how old he is and that he doesn't get the kids.
That's all he says is those damn kids get off my lawn the entire time. That's all he's saying.
Yeah.
Bree, you are going into this without context. What did you think of his review? Did it feel like Old Man Waves at Cloud?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I'm not saying this is amazing or anything or deserved a glowing review, but to compare it to High School Musical,
negatively,
which I feel like the only comparison there is that they both take place in high school. They're not even remotely similar.
They are very different things.
It'll become an apt description once the movie comes around, but you know.
I think the movie is comparable to High School Musical,
Yeah.
but that's a very different product.
So Ben Brantley predicted the future is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Ben Brantley, he watched the movie back in 2008.
Yeah. He knew this movie would be turned into a fake Disney movie by now.
I think this line of his too, like, but if I'm gonna revisit the worst years of my life, I need some fresh insights. What? Why? Everybody.
Why are you? You're watching a story. Why
When
are
I
you
mentally
revisiting
relive
the
middle
worst
school, I don't
years?
want to get more insights on how people were mean to me. I'm just
Maybe
trying
people like
to
it because
not
it's
think about it.
relatable. You know?
Or maybe he was
maybe-
the bully.
Maybe children want to see something that represents them on Broadway.
Maybe Ben Brantley wanted new insights on how to bully children.
He did bring a child with him to bully, potentially.
And then probably on the ride home, he's like, you say you like this? It was awful.
That Lucy
I
girl,
can't
she had
believe you
no
liked it.
depth. She was just a mean girl.
Bold of you. No, I know exactly how that drive.
relatable.
I know exactly how
Unbelievable.
that drive home went. He said, and you actually liked this. Huh. And they were silent for the rest of the ride. That was it.
She wouldn't tell me why she liked it.
And that was it. I feel like that is the kind of vibe. That is the vibe of a man that called Wicked preachy.
Good lord.
You actually liked this.
Won't ask a follow-up question. Won't ask for elaboration. We'll just be like, all right, that's your opinion. How about we go into a mid-show and then we talk about the movie?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon and what's going on over there. Yeah, I hear there's some Camp Rock.
Man, we did commentaries on Camp Rock 2, a Goofy movie. We got regular content over there with Liz and Jess. We're just pumping out commentaries right now too. Me and Jess are on a roll.
We're doing really good with those, and we got more coming. I also want to say we have older commentaries on the Phantom of the Opera 2004, the David Hasselhoff Jekyll and Hyde. And I feel like we got all 3 High School Musical movies are up there. Camp Rock 1 and 2. Like, we got a good amount of stuff up there. And y'all are missing out if you're not there, sincerely.
Yeah. There's lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, check out our merch.
Yes, our merch store is very good. I'm going to read through this list because we got letters that we got to read. And another Bree views for Bree to read. All right, so our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maneri, Brent Black, Nathaniel, Stacey Coop, Joseph Evans Green, Nick, Mary Lou Choquette, John Van Els, Ross Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Janae C, Scoot the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Steller, nothing is certain except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Raphael, Martina Salaz, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Timothy Keys, Chris Marcode, Mimu, Kiji, Marie Anastasio, Layla, RJ Norija, Charlie B, Patrick Deary, Avery Brinson, Bjorn Hermans, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy, Demos Lopez, Liana Morton, Angela, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman69, Cinemageddon Reviews, Sofiana Ali, The Omega Geek, Katrian Evans, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Elisa Erdman, Anna Loskatova, Jessica Veray, Sarah Den Blaker, Jess Gray, Jamila M. Brown, Evan Ball, Wayne Cruz, Zachary Torres, and Spencer Hellier. They all give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you like to support, if you like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as Patreon-only commentaries or episodes a day early or even earlier, and Patreon meetups where Andrew will 100% be there in the month of September because he owes one, come join us over at Patreon. And also, we have some letters and some reviews. Bree, I think we've got a brand new review there, and I think I'd like you to read it.
This is from Smiley8910, one of my favorite podcasts. I've been listening to Musicals with Cheese for around a year now, and I love it. It's such a funny podcast, and sometimes I find myself fully laughing out loud while listening. Crying emoji face. Also, being someone who's completely obsessed with theater, I've tried a bunch of different musical theater podcasts, and none of them measure up to this one in terms of variety, comedy, dynamics between the host, and the format. Keep up the amazing work. I will definitely keep listening.
Thank you, Smiley8910. Andrew, what do you think of that? Do you agree with that review?
I disagree. I feel like this podcast just isn't very good. We've really gone downhill lately.
Yeah, we are just shells of ourselves, to be honest. And we should admit that to ourselves eventually. But that's not today. We also have a letter. Andrew, why don't you read that letter?
All right, we have a letter from Opal. And Opal said, hello, I'm an opera fan and opera singer, and in regard to your question, do we care about story? Yes, or at least I do. But my willingness to tolerate a stupid story tends to be directly proportional with how much the music makes me feel. If the music is incredible, I'm a little more forgiving, and similarly, if the music is less incredible and the lyrics are great, or the characters/storylines make me care, or make me think I'm a little more forgiving, but neither is likely to be a true favorite. I agree that the plot of The Magic Flute is stupid, especially with all the build-up to the quest and then having it be such a non-issue, and the characters are poorly crafted, which is a big part of why I don't like it that much. I just couldn't get myself to care about anybody in it. Then again, it has some really fun setting/story elements, and the epic bits of music. I've only seen it once, so I would probably grow to like it more with more viewings, since I usually do. Some operas that have relatively good plots and characters, in my opinion, are... Oh boy, we got some long recommendations here.
Just read the titles.
Carmen, which I think we've covered a version of Carmen.
We covered Carmen Jones, which is a very good version of Carmen, in my opinion.
The Marriage of Figaro. Is this where Figaro comes from? Is that...
Figaro. No, that's it comes from the name of the cat in Pinocchio.
All right. Wagner's Ring Cycle. The Elixir of Love by Donizetti. Tosca by Puccini. And I think that's enough for now, although that's certainly not all. Anyway, I really enjoy your podcast, and I would absolutely love if you decide to cover more operas. Well, we are rebranding to Operas with Cheese very soon. So.
No, we're not. People will take you seriously.
They will.
Thank you, Opal, for that very, very nice letter, and thank you for engaging with the podcast. If you would like your review and or email read on a show, email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com or leave us a review on iTunes. We love those reviews, and we will cover even the bad ones. But how about we get back to the show and talk about this fucking movie?
Sorry, 1 second, sorry. Hello? Yeah, hold on. It's God, he wants his language back.
That's me, Evan Goldman. I'm about to turn 13 and have my bar mitzvah. A bar mitzvah is the event that defines you. The Jewish Super Bowl. Everything was going so well until my parents broke up. Now I have to have my bar mitzvah in Indiana. I don't even know anyone there.
13, the musical, the movie, was written by Robert Horn with music and lyrics by Jason Robert Brown. It premiered on Netflix on August 12th, 2022. It also had a world premiere in movie theaters that Jason Robert Brown attended and said it was the best experience of his life. But that's not worth talking about. A 12-year-old in New York City kid plans the ultimate bar mitzvah. However, the plans go to shit when his parents tell him that they're getting a divorce and that he has to move halfway across the country with no friends and his parents at each other's throats, and the plan for the perfect bar mitzvah is not going well. Liz, where'd you get that description there?
The Wikipedia page does not offer much of comprehension, so that's from Letterboxd.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was. Sometimes I do the Letterboxd ones because they're funnier.
Makes it sound a lot more exciting than it actually is.
It really does. So Liz, you actually talked about the production history here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So it was acquired in 2014 by CBS Films with someone else entirely writing the script. So. And then it was picked up for distribution, picked up by Netflix by an entirely different producer, with Tamara Davis being hired to direct and Horn doing the script. And then Davis was a producer, and they got Jason Robert Brown to come in and produce, and then they got him to write new songs for some reason. I don't know why. And then they began principal photography in June of 2021 in Toronto, but also went to New York City, Beaton, and Brampton, which is in Ontario, apparently.
Shot a lot of this in Canada, I'm getting the vibe of. And our friend Hex on our Patreon said that a lot of locations were nearby them.
Yeah. Also, apparently they borrowed a lot for this movie from the book version of 13 the musical.
That's stupid.
Which is, I don't know why there's a book version of this, first of all, but apparently they expand some of the characters in the book and they include the adults, so.
Yeah, the adults were not characters in the stage show, but they are big figures in this movie.
It's got to have that draw of a known actor, I think.
People love Deborah Messing nowadays, don't they?
People love Rhea Perlman.
I love Rhea Perlman, but
people
not
love
enough to
Josh
watch this.
Peck.
Everybody loves Josh Peck.
Zoomed in for a couple days and then maybe showed up for one day of shooting.
He went to Canada for like an hour, maybe.
He had the one joke.
Yeah,
he had one joke and he stuck with it until the movie was over.
Hello? Oh, hi, God.
Hi.
What's that? I should have another joke?
Hi, I'm a child. This
think
child
so.
is bastardizing an ancient language. Let me tell you, it's terrible.
Oh, fuck, I don't even know where to start with this movie.
It's High School Musical.
It's bad.
Yeah, it feels like a commercial. Like, it feels like, you know, when you're watching a piece of media that you can tell has no artistry or soul put into it, and it's like you're waiting for them to flash up like the Coca-Cola logo or something. That's like the entire movie.
I think you described it specifically as a Target commercial.
Yeah.
You did that, actually.
Yeah, because it looks like that. It looks like an ad for Target.
It makes the chicken fries ads feel more cinematic. I'd rather watch the chicken fries ads.
So this movie... How did they miss the mark this badly? So we could fast forward or rewind to December 2019 when we had Princess Weeks on and we covered the Prom musical.
Which is also in a video version if you want a condensed version on the YouTube channel.
That Liz made very, very well. And we talked about that movie version and how that removed any bite, any interest, all of that. And by happenstance, that was also done by Netflix Films. What is up with them buying these musicals? You know, Netflix also has the rights to Be More Chill, and I can't wait for them to either never make it or make it badly.
They're going to put Keanu Reeves in it. He's just going to do nothing.
It's all of these shows that have this mild amount of edge to them that's kind of important for it to actually feel like a real story. And so far, all they have done is just removed that little bit of edge, and it just makes it feel like a commercial.
Remember when Ben Brantley said no character feels like an individual, they feel like archetypes? That's true for this, sincerely.
I don't even know if it is. Like, what archetypes are there? The popular kids are all really nice.
Yeah,
they're way
they're
too
decent
nice.
human beings.
Yeah, they're all like completely decent people. Literally everybody would get along if it wasn't just for Lucy. Lucy is just the bad guy character.
But she's not even that bad. They tone her down significantly from the stage show and cut out every one of her songs, basically.
She seems worse, though, in comparison, because no one else is doing anything wrong, ever. Literally, like, even, like,
Brett.
I feel like Brett was, like, kind of an asshole a little bit in the stage show.
I'd say more than a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just in the, like, he's ready to accept Patrice just into the group. He's like, he feels bad when Lucy makes fun of her. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Where, like, no one here is an asshole? Not even one person except for Lucy. That's the only person.
And they try to frame Patrice as kind of an asshole, too, where it's like, how dare you do something reasonable, you bitch?
I do not understand.
Please tell me what they've changed, Andrew. Like, because...
Nearly everything.
Yeah, it's in-name only. It's an in-name only adaptation with, like, one or two songs from the stage show, and it's not even the good ones. They didn't keep the good ones. They didn't even keep the famous ones. What It Means to Be a Friend, which is one of the most famous songs from the musical 13, they cut from the movie. They shot it, but they cut it.
It's on YouTube as we speak.
So as soon as I started bitching about this on Twitter, I got DMs like, I have on authority that was shot, and it will be uploaded at a later date. I'm like, why wasn't it in the movie? I don't care if it'll be uploaded at a later date.
Yeah, I was looking for the trailer, and I was scrolling through the search results, like 4 deleted scenes popped up. It's a thing for me to watch. I'm like, why weren't they in the movie?
The movie's
so much of the plot has changed, like, just straight, too. Because, like, in the stage show... When Evan first meets the popular kids, he gets an in with Brett by recommending that he takes Kendra to a scary movie.
Yes.
Right? In the movie, he just walks up to the popular kids and Brett's like, "Oh, you're the new kid. That's sick. I'm your best friend now."
So, do you recognize the kid that plays Brett from anything? Mr. DeWolf.
I don't. Should I? Because I don't.
He played young Simba in the Lion King remake.
Then you wouldn't recognize him because he was playing a CGI lion.
He sang a song.
It's true. But he's also like 5 years younger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad his career is moving up because I guarantee this is better than the Lion King remake.
Like, once again, the best actor in this show is still the girl that plays Lucy, but that's not as much of a thing as it was in the stage show.
Yeah, so it's just, they just changed so much.
Please elaborate, because I feel like we keep saying this, and I do want to talk about the director, who I thought I liked. She's the director of Billy Madison. She's like done edgy, dark comedies before. She did Black Sheep and all that. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, that's an interesting choice. I'll be curious to see what they do. And they didn't do great.
So Brett is like super nice and like accepting of like everybody. Geez, Evan doesn't really have many faults either at all.
No.
There isn't really any character traits between all of the cast. I don't really know.
They felt like they couldn't have the kids have relationships with depth, so they gave all the depth to the adults. Like, Kendra's mom is now the
Yes.
reason why she can't go out and do things, because she has a strict mom, which she did not have in the stage musical at all. None of the parents
There
were
was no
characters.
adults in the stage musical. Not really, anyways.
Also, Kendra was completely rewritten from scratch because in the musical, she's just kind of stupid. And that's kind of it. And in this one, she like has an overly religious mother who forces her to like stay away from her friends all summer because of some unidentified thing she did. And then she's in love with Brett, and then they're in love with each other, and there's no conflict except Lucy's being a bad person. I don't want to call this child a B word because she's a literal child. So
I'll call her a bitch, but she isn't being a bitch, because even in the musical, they make her get an apology from Kendra for not talking to her all summer.
So they change a lot of the songs, and by like a lot, I mean it feels like there's no songs between the two shows.
So, are you?
I know that there is, but
do you have the song
God.
list? Because we have both song lists in our document in comparison to each other, and I'm pretty sure Liz went out of her way to highlight the ones that are from the stage show.
Yeah. So
yes, I did. But they're rewritten.
yeah, they're still also not the same, even when the ones that they used. But then they also have 3 new songs, and there's just a bunch of songs that aren't there at all.
So Jason Robert Brown, I've listened to him speak. I think he's actually a very brilliant writer. I know we meme on him a bunch because he is a very easy target, but I do think he's very good at the musical theater thing. He wrote a theme for Evan called Becoming a Man, and it ties to nearly every big major story beat. It goes da 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 da, and it plays every time there's a big character moment. So like when Tell Her, which is basically the emotional through line, that's how that song starts. So you start with that melody, and anytime anything important happens, that melody happens. They just cut that out, and then Tell Her still.
That?
Yeah, but then Tell Her still starts with that melody. I swear to God, Ethan would have a fucking field day comparing these two pieces of work.
It's really incredible just how little it feels like an adaptation of the actual work.
I'm on a few lists for early screenings of media, and I'm going to try to speak as vaguely, because I like being on them, as I possibly can. They sent 45 different screening requests for kids to watch this and different edits of this film. And I've got a feeling there was once upon a time a fairly accurate version of this, and then they just kind of tore it to shreds. I feel like they shot alternate versions of scenes. I also feel like they discredit to the original 13, it is a very white show, both in tonal, musical styles, and casting.
Yeah. I mean,
I
can
like
agree
the
with that.
diversity. But a lot of the songs just feel like, I can say this, honky songs. Even songs that I kind of like I'm getting ready to do, I'm getting ready for you, feels like an old 20s gangster singing at you.
Well, it kind of gives it it's a very diverse movie.
Yes.
But it doesn't actually feel like a diverse movie because it doesn't feel like there's any actual culture being displayed at all in the entire thing.
Remember, I think I brought this up with Heath Saunders, wrote this very, very brilliant letter saying stop just sticking black bodies into white roles and claiming that you're diverse, right? Give the pen to people of those specific diverse sections so that they can write their own stories. Stop just saying here's a diversity in a white story in a white role that would have gone to a white person, but now it's not. It feels disingenuous is the thing.
Yeah, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that it doesn't actually feel like a diverse show, even though on paper it is.
Can we talk about Archie for a second?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like he is one of the characters that is the most harmed in this, strangely, despite not seeming so on paper. He is a significant part of the stage musical and basically the reason why they get to go to the movie in the stage musical.
Yep.
Yeah.
But #ableism, but it felt like proper child ableism. That is the way that children would do, because he has a terminal illness, go guilt my mom into buying tickets to the R-rated movie.
True.
Yeah.
And in this, they're like, oh no, Evan will just distract kids.
And then somehow Evan still gets into the theater, even though the only reason the other kids could have gotten in is because Evan distracted them. How did that work?
Yeah, was the
the
guy
movie
taking tickets, did he just run away?
I don't know. He just enters into the movie. The movie makes less sense because of it. At least with the terminal illness part, Archie both gets to make fun of Evan because of his like religious faith, which is also kind of weird. He makes fun of him for being Jewish, and reciprocation for him making fun of him for being disabled. I don't know. It felt like real kids, and here it feels like cardboard cutouts singing songs.
Yeah.
They had the weird plot element where the parents find out about the scary movie and like show up in the theater.
Well, Patrice ratted them out.
Yeah. Which is just like,
But in the original, Patrice was
would
there.
parents in 2022 care this much about their kids that are like 13 sneaking into a horror movie?
Let me alter that. Would kids
I
care
know a
about seeing
14-year-old
horror
who's allowed
movie?
to go to Scream 5 with an adult.
And they should be,
so-
because kids like to be scared.
But here's the question: what kid wants to be in a movie theater?
That's true.
Like,
Depends on the movie.
Apparently the whole
2022.
school in this movie.
In 2022, who the fuck wants to be in a movie? I mean, I do, because I'm
Wait
a
a
fucking
second.
snob.
Jess, did we just figure out what this was a commercial for?
Movies?
Movie theaters?
Go
From
to the
Netflix?
movies.
Can we make a musical
Netflix?
version of that Nicole Kidman ad? I'd rather see that.
I sincerely would too. But you know what? Let's compare our opinions to those of the movie critics. Bree, why don't you take this away? Liz has curated some movie reviews for us to compare our thoughts to. And the movie's bad.
I just did the one. Is that okay?
It's okay. That's fine.
I didn't know
We
if I
did
need
one
to-
Ben Brantley. We got Letterboxd to do after this.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry. I didn't
we
have
got
any
time.
one or two.
Okay, we have a movie review by Owen
Gleiberman, I believe.
Gleiberman. Owen Gleiberman. Okay, Owen Gleiberman. I'm going to say his name a billion times. Okay, wrote in his review for Variety, watching 13, you see how a certain school of upbeat Broadway exuberance zigged and zagged from the pastel explosion of Grease to the pop musical exhilaration of Rent to the high school musical films and the other Disney Channel song and dance confections like Zombies, right up through the powdered sugar saga of middle school angst. Is this movie an after-school special on Happy Pills? 13, the musical, is as synthetic as can be. But every 5 minutes or so, there's another number, and damned if they don't pop. The songs by Jason Robert Brown have an irresistible Rent Jr. effervescence with a hip-hop flow to several of them. And they just reel you in. These kids can sing and really dance, even as they're enacting a storyline built around a bar mitzvah, a first kiss, and the scheme that threatens to undermine both. 13, the musical, is just catchy enough to make you forget how facile it is. It's not greased lightning, but it glides right along.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I
need to take his lunch money.
The New York Times review was like, this is fine, and that was it. So
Ben Gleiberman. I know. I want your lunch money, Mr. Gleiberman from Variety.
he did not like it,
Rent
but he liked the
Jr.?
song.
I get it. Like, the song numbers do have energy to it that the rest
How
of the
could
film
you
doesn't
possibly
have.
call this Rent Jr.?
That's what I said.
Rent is so edgy. Like, how is this a Rent Jr.?
It's try hard edgy. 13 is actually edgy.
13 the musical, like
Yes.
the movie though?
The
This is
stage
for the
show.
movie. Yeah,
This is for the movie.
the headline
Yes.
was like 13 the musical's okay, but the songs are great.
The songs aren't even that good. Like, there's not a single song that replaces a previous song that's as good as what was previously there.
The song they added to replace Hey Kendra, one of the best songs in the original, I figured out after a couple of days what it reminded me of. It reminded me of You Happen from the Prom if it sucked.
Yes. everything about this movie reminds me of The Prom. It's like the writers of The Prom deserve a producer credit on this just as like a gimme, because they take so many elements from both the movie and the stage version of The Prom.
I wonder if James Corden was originally going to be in this.
Oh yeah, he was Josh Peck probably.
Can we talk about just the Bloodmaster as a name of a song / fake movie?
Can we talk about the Bloodmaster
It's
the
so
movie? Because I
bad.
wanted to watch that movie instead.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I mean,
the
I would
Bloodmaster
watch
movie.
the Bloodmaster over watching this.
Evil Dead meets
wouldn't-
Friday the 13th? Totally.
Oh, yes. But the movie they describe in the stage show, that sounds unpleasant. It sounds like Saw.
Well, I mean, didn't that come out when Saw was like a big thing?
Yeah,
It was like,
it sounded like they were seeing a Saw movie. Which I wouldn't
Yeah.
go see.
I mean, that was what horror movies were back then. So
Yeah, Saw was like the big thing. It made billions of dollars every Halloween.
Like, they couldn't even let Archie and Brett kiss in this one.
I don't know.
it's
Yeah,
really
they never
sad.
mentioned the tongue in this one, which I'm actually kind of
Yeah, and
thankful for.
What? That's my favorite part. It shows that how gross teenage boys are.
There was like a shot that I'm pretty sure it was like one of Brett's friends went to like hug Lucy or something, and it panned over, and Lucy was like, no. And then it panned back to the kid and then panned over to his friend. And I was expecting him to like hug his friend instead, and it just didn't happen.
There's no LGBT representation in this movie. For some, like, all of its inclusions. I feel like we needed,
They
like,
could have
one...
just done. He kisses Archie, and then they get it. That's it.
Honestly, that would be great. I will say, I did enjoy this both in the stage musical, and I'm glad they kept it in the movie. That Evan his goal is not to find a girlfriend, or like his goal isn't romance. His goal is to help other people find their romance, and him and Patrice are just kind of buds. And I don't know why it's so refreshing
No,
to have
his
a main
goal
character.
is to get people to come to his bar mitzvah.
Yes, but
That's
the
his only
fact that his goal isn't to find a woman or find a romantic interest. I don't know why that's so refreshing to me, especially in a kids movie where our main character's goal is not to just find a mating pair.
I mean, you could argue
Like, that's fairly rare.
you could argue that wasn't her goal in Camp Rock either, but
But she
It was,
got
though.
whatever
It was
Jonas
her
brother
goal.
that was.
it was Joe.
Joe.
Also,
Okay.
this is from the stage show. I forgot to point this out earlier, but there's a scene where they're in Lucy's room and there's a poster of Kevin Jonas.
Hey.
No teenage girl had a poster of Kevin Jonas.
Didn't Ariana date him?
No, he was married like in like 2009. No one ever wanted no one had a crush on Kevin ever.
Girl from Camp
It was Joe,
Rock,
Nick, and
obviously
maybe
did.
Frankie if you were like into the younger Jonas.
No one likes the younger Jonas. Speaking of
Sorry,
younger Jonas,
I
let's
just went on
compare
a
our...
Kevin Jonas tangent.
It's okay. I want to say, but okay, they cut out the two best songs in the entire show. Like, my favorite song in the entirety of 13 is Everything Charlotte Says Is a Lie. That song is so catchy and is like a relative of the telephone song from Bye Bye Birdie and a descendant of the what is it? The
Smartphone Hour?
telephone. Yeah, Smartphone Hour from the Be More Chill. I love that song. Liz Gillies, Giles, whatever the fuck her name is, kills it every time, and it becomes like a beautiful sounding like story number, and it progresses plot perfectly. And they cut it out.
Yeah, but they cut that plot point.
It's so stupid. Why did they cut it?
Anyway, you were transitioning into something.
No, I'm still angry. I need to talk about how Lucy slut-shamed Kendra and how that was one of the best musical points where she tells her that she should just tell Brett to not kiss her.
I don't remember.
That's in during I'm Getting Ready. Like that was supposed to be like the One Day More section where everyone has their little bit, and she's like, "I'm a good girl. I don't do that." And when he's talking about his penis, either way,
The virgin horror
let's-
complex, but for teenagers.
Exactly. Go read a book, kids. In relation to that, let's compare our opinions to those of the crazy folks on Letterboxd.com. It's time for the Letterboxd game! And Andrew, for the first time in ever, it's you against me. And Bree and Liz, you decide what team you're on.
Oh God.
Liz,
Oh, boy.
I'll let you. I always gotta pick.
Why do I have to pick? Okay, I'll pick Andrew.
Good choice.
It's the right choice.
It is.
Bree,
the
I don't think you and I have ever been on the same team before because you hate
I don't
picking
think so. It works. All right. Who wants to start?
You can start, Brie.
Okay. Jess, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Slade. Josh Peck hot.
That's a 5 out of 5.
5-star. Yep.
Cause Josh Peck hot. Did he and Liz Gillies and Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande ever do like an episode together? If so, that's a 13 cinematic universe.
No, there's never a crossover.
Damn.
There's an iCarly Victorious crossover, though,
Yeah.
which is why Sam and
was-
Cat exists.
But there was also a Drake and Josh iCarly crossover, so they are tentatively connected.
I don't remember that being a thing.
Yeah, I don't
remember-
either.
Brianna Cosgrove was in the main cast of Drake and Josh, so that wouldn't have
Yeah,
worked.
but Drake showed up and called her Megan once.
Oh, he was entirely from character, though. That was a joke.
Fine.
I'm sorry, I'm very serious
Whatever.
about that.
Fucking Quentin reviews over here.
Hey, don't you dare call me.
All right, Liz, it's on you. I'm winning.
All right. Oh, it's bad for boys in musicals named Evan.
That's a 1.
That is a 1.
And that's true. We've got some bad ones with the movies coming out.
Times are hard for Evans, but I know it's hard for me.
Finally, the feature-length adaptation of Gap commercials that we've all been waiting for.
That's a 1 star.
That's a 1-star.
All
I don't
right.
think there's many 5-star reviews of this, to be honest.
You'd be surprised, my friend.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
There
I
are
am
many.
often wrong.
All right. If I automatically got a boyfriend when I kiss someone, I would have like 3 girlfriends. So why don't I have 3 girlfriends?
That sounds like a sexual assault confession.
That does sound like a problem. I'm gonna
Yes.
say 1 star.
That's a 5-star.
Haha,
a
eat
5.
my ass, bitch.
Damn, son.
I'm so conflicted.
That's a 1 star.
That's a 5-star.
Ooh, we're tied now.
There's a lot of trickery
Conflicted
in
about
these.
who's winning this thing.
This is gonna be a photo finish, I'm betting.
It probably will be. I'd still be religious if I had Rabbi Josh.
Jesus. 5 stars.
Yes, there's a lot of Josh Peck horniness.
He's barely in the movie. He Zoom called in.
I know, but people were very horny for him for some reason.
Was he the best part of the movie?
To some people.
He might have been. It's arguable. There wasn't many good parts, though.
Yeah.
My sister thinks this is a cinematic masterpiece.
I'm gonna say 1 star because I don't think they agree with their sister.
That's a 1-star.
Because I don't agree with my sister.
On anything.
Anything?
Ever.
Anything.
Alright. What am I doing with my life?
That's a good question. I'm asking myself that right now.
That's a 1 star.
Yes, it is.
Andrew, I gotta tell you about this TikTok I saw today. It's big if true, but you can apparently just yo-yo into water.
Bro.
Every time I
it
say
works.
bruh, it sounds just like the sound effect. It cracks me.
I don't know why I made that, but I did.
I saw it and I thought I was like on drugs. I saw it at like 5 a.m. this morning. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Why are we up at 5 a.m.?
Because I'm up every day at 5 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
I work for a living.
It's true.
All right, what's my next one?
Say what you will about the movie, but The Bloodmaster is a banger.
Not as good
Bro.
as Getting Ready from the stage show. They're wrong. I'm gonna say that's a 5 star.
That's a 5-star.
Someone got his penis chewed off, and I'm sitting here. How did I eat those pork rinds?
Am I high?
That's that Jason Robert Brown wrote those lyrics.
I hate to. Oh God, this show's so weird. Anyway, this is like a straight, less sad version of falsettos.
No, it isn't.
Not really.
Because there's a bar mitzvah, maybe. I guess.
There's some recurring themes. I can actually We're gonna give that a 5.
That is a 5. We
Nailed
remain
it.
tied.
Maybe we should redo falsettos one day. That was one of our early episodes.
I still haven't seen falsetto, so I didn't
It's really
know if
good.
That was
You
an
should
apt
watch it.
description.
Still better than Cats.
That is
For a really long time, I'm like, he's over there cheating.
cheating. I forgot it was my turn if you want the honest answer. I'm not used to answering these.
Oh god. All right. Let him say he's a sex god. Weird explain emoji.
Yeah, that fucked with me too. It's funny to hear Archie claim he's a sex god. Because in the movie he claims he's like a love god or something
He's a
less
love.
funny.
He's a love god.
Love God,
monkey.
a true romantic.
Oh god.
That's gonna be a 1 star.
That is a 1. Good drawback.
This was like a 90-minute long Old Navy commercial.
Didn't we get that already? That's a 1
No, the
star.
other one's
We got
about a
the-
Gap ad. This is an Old Navy ad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those are 2 very different 1 star.
There's a
though.
lot of those. There's a lot of those. A lot of Target ad ones too.
So we weren't even alone in this.
No, a bunch of people agreed.
We have makers, Andrew.
Although Old Navy and Gap are the same, like, company.
What?
Yeah, it's the same parent company. Yeah.
Yep, and Banana Republic.
Yeah.
What? I feel like I've been lied to for years.
Yeah. Corporations own everything.
I'm gonna throw up. This.
Feudalism.
Did you give me an answer?
1 star.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, they like this Old Navy commercial.
Oh.
All right. Honestly, I got this one because I thought she might like it. Oh my god, it's Liz Lemon's cousin who she almost made out with on 30.
Reference. Good reference.
Okay. That's
That is a 1.
I'm not winning anymore.
It looks like you're tied, I think. Actually can't tell.
Wait, did you add Jess's last point?
He didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
Okay, so we're still tied.
Yep, it's 5-5. Okay,
Oof.
last one.
Okay.
Hashtag never underestimate me. Up high for Lucy.
That is a 5.
Okay, yes, it's all in caps too. But you already.
If they're simping over Lucy, it's a 5.
Oh god. I apologize, Andy. This is difficult. Choreo was amazing.
one.
Yes.
And we
I
are
was
fully the
confused.
winners, Andrew. High 5. Bam.
Oh man, this has been a long one. I think we gotta wrap it up here.
All right. Everyone, what is your overall thoughts on 13, the musical, and the movie, and your cheese rating? Liz, why don't you start us off?
All right. I like the show. I didn't expect to like it. I only suggested it because I thought it'd be good for Patreon content, and now I'm here. So, life takes you weird directions.
But you're happy to be here.
Yes, I am. I'm always happy to be here. But I like this. I like the stand musical is deeply confusing. The movie version, it confuses me. I don't know what it is. It is the weirdest corporate shill product I've ever seen. I don't know what it's trying to do or what it's going for or what it's even doing. So I'm going to give it a snack my mom would always buy for me, mom or dad would buy for me that I'd always complain about. Whole grain Cheez-Its.
That's fair. No, that's a good choice.
They aren't very good.
Yeah, Andrew, you're up.
Yeah, I thought the stage show was all right. I think it's got a good gimmick to it that everyone is an actual age the characters are supposed to be, and it feels like a real show, you know. And then the movie just sucks everything out of it. So don't watch that.
I'm so sorry. I just had flashbacks to like fucking One Direction boys saying like, I loved it because, you know, it's the best part about being in a movie is that it feels like a movie. And you were just like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
you know,
Chris
it's
Pine
a real
is
show.
dying.
Don't upset the Harry stands, though. They'll come for you.
It's true.
I'll spit all over you.
He said he didn't spit.
I don't care. He did. I don't give a shit what happened.
I saw the Zapruder film. He spat all over Chris Pine's dick.
True. The weird part is Chris Pine seemed to like it.
I mean,
Yeah,
if it's
he-
about me, I wouldn't object. So
I prefer Chris Pine to
So-
spit on me.
I prefer both of them too.
I'm going to give it a Wabash Cannonball, which is a cheese from Indiana, which I'm pretty sure is where this happens. It just sounds funny. It's a funny name. Wabash Cannonball. That sounds like an interesting type of cheese. That's all I've got.
All right. Bree, what do you think about our discussion, your cheese rating?
I think this was my favorite discussion of all time because Liz was here.
Oh,
Wow.
I very much enjoyed having Liz on today's show. And it sounds like I would probably like the stage of 13, probably not the movie. And I'm going to give this a Josh Bell. That's his name, Josh Peck. I combine the two. Drake Bell, Josh.
one of them's in prison and one's in 13.
Yeah, one's in prison.
Yes.
And the other's in 13 the musical. Which one is worse? I'll let you decide.
I'm gonna
It's
give
the
it a
one in prison,
Josh
though.
It's the prison. Yeah, it's the prison.
GIF. The Josh Peck GIF of him cheese from Drake and Josh. I'll send it in the chat.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Iconic.
Yeah.
The best part is because that is a juxtaposition where Drake is like, girls. And he's like, cheese.
Spherical.
Miracle.
I do kind of have a soft spot for Drake and Josh, despite one of them being a horrible person, but I doubt he's getting any residuals from those. I know Ned Bigby isn't, so why would Drake Bell get any?
Reboot,
Poor Ned Bigby.
it's declassified.
Okay, have you followed any of the Ned's Declassified people on the TikToks?
I don't go on TikTok that much.
Okay, Ned Bigby's just whining about how he doesn't get residual, posting about her foot fetish, and that is all that they do on TikTok. And it is wild, because I follow both of
What
them.
about
'cause I'm-
Cookie, though?
What was Cookie doing?
I think he's wisely staying on social media, and God bless him for it.
Can we get Ned's Declassified Work Survival Guide?
Ooh, and he works at an evil corporate job.
Get laid off on a Friday. Be sure that you get that was
When
our
you're working from home, you leave your computer on.
So they sell these mouse shakers on Amazon, but don't worry, you don't want to put a one because they can track that now. You want a physical one that actually shakes your mouse. Be sure you have a VPN on if you're looking at porn while on the job. And that's
Wait,
our...
you're supposed to do that? Oh, shit.
Do we need to talk?
I don't do that shit. No, I'm not brave enough for that. I can't
I don't
afford
actually.
NordVPN.
I'm kidding.
I can't afford VPN.
There's free VPNs, Jess. Come on.
Yeah.
However,
Good times.
NordVPN wants to sponsor us. I might be able to say that they are one of the best VPNs out there, or any other VPN service that's willing to give us money.
Surfshark, Atlas.
Any one of them that wants to give me money, I'm willing to take. Either way, my cheese rating, I like 13 the musical. Said it up front, I really enjoyed the show. Movie bad. Movie's not even the same show. The movie is an advertisement. And I think Tick Tick Boom was, an outlier. There's not another good movie musical made on Netflix. Hey guys, the Matilda movie sucks. I'm not going to tell you how I know it sucks, but I already know that movie sucks. I'm so sorry. Lower your expectations. On that
There's already
note,
a good Matilda movie, so it's all
Yeah, it's
good.
from the 90s. It's got Danny DeVito.
directed. Rhea Perlman's in that too.
Yeah. It's all connected.
I am giving this mac and cheese, but specifically the mac and cheese that Elizabeth Gillies on Twitter said that they wanted on May 26, 2015, when they tweeted, "I want macaroni and cheese."
Jess, did you look up Liz Gillies cheese on Twitter?
And if I did, what do you have a problem with that?
Well, I mean, you could find some fetish stuff doing that.
Yeah, you
know?
can find some weird stuff.
No,
You gotta be
it's
careful.
cheese, not feet.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Oh. Hey, interchangeable.
I was way off there.
Speaking of cheesy feet, You know who else has very cheesy feet?
Dan Schneider.
Yes.
And our wonderful patrons. You guys for listening. Liz, why don't you promote your wonderful places where people can find you and all the stuff you do?
Well, I've never done this before. This is weird.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
This is weird. So you can find me on Twitter at Elizabeth Esten. I have a letterboxd, letterboxd.com/Elizabird910. And you can check out the Musicals of Cheese YouTube channel to see some of my work. If you want to.
She's very talented. And if you want to commission her for some editing or any of that, she's the best editor in the business. Sincerely, you will not find a better editor of video content out there in the world. I cannot recommend her more, and she has seen me try to pawn her off onto famous YouTubers many a time.
I have. Yeah, if you have any editing work you want to branch out to me, just DM me on Twitter. It's probably the best place to go. I don't want to give my email out in a podcast, so...
On that note, thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Musicals with Cheese. Leave us a review on the Apple Podcast, and we'll read it here on the podcast. Even if it's like a recipe for how to make crystal meth, we'll have to read it. Follow us on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals. We're on Patreon, Musicals with Cheese, Instagram, Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page, Musicals with Cheese. You have a Patreon-only podcast with me and Elizabeth Esten, where we talk about Tangled, the series. Come check that out. It's actually a lot of fun. Yeah. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. You are the fucking best, Juliet. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. This show is
my
produced...
Love is Blind buddy.
Hell yeah. This show is produced by the wonderful, the incredible, my very good friend, Brianna Jones. I love you so much, Bree. What you eating there? Bree?
Stir fry.
It looks delicious.
Thank you.
Did you make it yourself? Oh,
no,
Jacob made it.
Dinner.
Nice.
Okay. Does your brother ever make the dinner?
No.
You should make him one day. Just see what happens. Our theme by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you to the Broadway for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for talking so much about Liz Gilly's feet. All right, guys. Is there anything else we have to say before we wrap this on up?
No.
Nah.
But we'll see you next on Musical Cheese. If he does it and I let him, you're a slut. Right, and if you want to stop him, you're a T. Good, and if I let him and I like it, you're a skeck. Wow, but he could also get your tongue stuck down his throat, or kiss so hard he chips one of your teeth, or there's a million other ways it could all go wrong. It doesn't matter if the urge to kiss him back is strong. You gotta hold that boy at bay. Look him dead in the eye and say, I'm a good girl, I don't do that. I'm a nice girl, put that away. I'm a good girl, keep your hands off. If you tell him that, then you will be okay.